Hi there, my name is Doug Burns, and I'm a consultant that helps businesses save time and money with process improvement and automation. In this video, I'm going to show an app that I created to help with social media marketing that uses AppSheet, Zapier, and ChatGPT. This is AppSheet, and if you're not familiar with it, it's part of the Google Workspace suite, and it's something that's really good at working with relationships in data and also different levels of user access. So if you're using Google Sheets or Excel right now and starting to get into that space, AppSheet is really something that would be good to check out because, again, it's great at handling those types of things. And in addition to just being able to handle those well in a web application like this on the desktop, it also works on your phone very nicely so that you're able to use these apps when you're out and about. And there's really no additional effort involved in creating something that works well in mobile like this. So what this app is for is to share content out with a social media audience. And in this case, it's a golf audience for a golf app. And we want to share out things that may be of interest to casual or recreational golfers. So what this view is showing right now is a list of articles that were recently published to the web, pulled from a Google alert feed. And along with them, there's a column here that says AI suggested yes or no, which is basically an AI determination of whether that particular article may be of interest to this audience. And if I switch over to this AI suggested tab, it's the same data, but this is basically just kind of an easier way to look at it. That's just only showing the AI suggested data and or AI suggested articles, and also the title and the description of each one of them. So next, we're going to look at where this comes from. All right, this is the Google feed that everything is primarily coming from. You see I have a search set up for alerts with golf, minus these particular things, which are more about kind of professional golf that might not be as much interest to these particular golfers. So I basically get a feedback of articles from this, and from there, I'm using Zapier, which is a tool for building automations, to run through this workflow. Basically, what this does is every day at 8 a.m., you see here, it goes and it pulls through actually pulls the content from that feed, retrieve and transform the Google feed here. It gets the current time, it loops over each one of the posts. It looks to see if that post was within the last 24 hours because we're only processing 24 hours of posts at a time. And then probably the most interesting part here is using ChatGPT in order to classify that particular article to make the determination whether it may be of interest. So in order to do that, it's actually taking the title and the content from that article, which it got from the feed, and then it's like looking at these different categories which I defined, which are mentions golf but is not really about golf, is about professional golf, is of possible interest to casual golfers and not about professional golf, and about something other than golf. So basically, it goes through each one of those articles and it uses ChatGPT to make a determination of which one of those categories is most appropriate for that particular article. And then from there, the next step, it's basically just doing a determination of whether the article is of possible interest to casual golfers and not about professional golf. And if that is true, then it's setting that AI suggested to true for that, or yes for that particular record. And then finally, in this last step in the AppSheet part, it actually just goes back in AppSheet and creates that article record for that particular time. So that brings us back here again. That's basically how all this content got in here. Again, pulling from that Google feed, going through that recommendation process to determine whether or not it's good, and then putting in the other information about the title and content here. So from here, I want to actually do something with this content. I want to actually take it and write something about it and then post it out to social media. And we're using Buffer, the service Buffer, in order to do the posting. That basically takes articles that you add to it or takes posts that you add to it and pushes it out at a certain schedule each day for you. So that's how we're ultimately going to push it out. In the meantime, we need to say something about each one of these things when we share them out to personalize it a little bit and then actually add it to Buffer in order to be able to send out according to our schedule. So to do that, there's really two steps. And let's say that I want to send out this article for Horseshoe Bay and also this one down here about the 90-year-old Berkeley Hills golfer. So I need to write something to say about them. And we've also built some automations again using Zapier to do that. So if I just hit draft post on that one, you see drafting, and I can say draft post on this one as well, and it'll say drafting. This actually takes a couple seconds, but what it's doing is it takes the link for that particular article. It's using a service called Scraping Bee to reach out to the website for that particular article, pull back the content, read it using ChatGPT, and then actually create a social media post in the suggested style that we've given ChatGPT in order for that. So you see here, this one just came back. We have Texas golf isn't what you think. Discover the surprises at Horseshoe Bay. And the second one's drafting here. You could basically go in and edit these if you weren't happy with what ChatGPT came up with, but it does at least create an initial draft for you based on the content. You see this one came along as well at 90 years young. Ray Ryak just scored his 15th hole in one. So that's basically what it does. It pulls it back, and again, you could click these and go in and edit them, or you could hit draft again, and it would give you something that's likely a little bit different the next time around if you're not completely happy with what it came up with. So that's that. The next thing is actually posting that. In order to do that, I can just hit Q post for each one of those things. You see that just appeared as soon as I hit Q post, and Q post on this one as well. And now, if I switch over to Buffer and refresh, you will see that we have both of those posts queued up here, and they're both, this one's scheduled to go out at 3:49 p.m. and this one's scheduled to go out at 7:33 p.m. So the takeaway here isn't necessarily this particular solution. It's really to show how tools like AppSheet and Zapier can use automation to save you a ton of time. So unless you're someone who's in social media marketing, doing something like this is probably extra on top of your regular job, and it might be something that you just don't end up doing because it takes so long every day. So with a tool like this, using AppSheet, especially since you can access it on your phone there, it's something you can now do while you're in line at the grocery store. You know, look at the particular articles that came in for that day, have the AI take the time to read the articles, do the recommendations for you, and come up with the post for you, and you basically just click the button to send it out. And even beyond the capabilities, one of the great things about tools like AppSheet and Zapier is that they're very fast to build with. So you could have something like this out and running for you and helping to save you time in weeks instead of months or even longer that it would have taken to build things like this in the past. So that's this example. I hope you found it interesting. If you've got some challenges in your own work or things that are taking a little bit longer than you'd like, reach out, tell me a little bit about them, and I'd be happy to share some ideas how tools like this could be used to make things faster and easier.